What's up YouTube, Car Boss here, back in another video where we talk about cars, money, investing. As you can see, I got a haircut here, correct? And that's perhaps today's theme of the video, taking cuts and taking losses. And as you can see from the title of today's video, approximately $12,000 loss, on the recent Probsteam 123 auction. Basically my own consignments to Probsteam, where I lost about 12,000 bucks on 17 listings, okay, in total, which comprise mainly non-NBA cars that has Marvel, F1, sprinkle of Star Wars as well. So in this video, I'm going to take you through the listings one by one, on my train of thought on putting these cards up, and some of the losses that I took on individually on these cards, and the reasoning behind why did I actually put these cards up for sale at this juncture. Okay, so without further ado, let's go straight to those listings right now. Okay, so let's go. So here's my eBay page right here. So you can see first card here is the Spider-Man 2018 Marvel Masterpieces Epic Purple, number out of 199. It's a PSA 9 Pop 1, that ended for 290 bucks. Now, is this cheap? I think I saw Gingerman Cards actually post something on his IG story to say that this was a steal. In fact, I think this is a steal. I would say that the fair market price of a Pop 1 PSA 9 on this 2018 should fetch around about let's say 400 or so. So I'm not that far off. I'm perhaps about like 220 230 into this card, so I kind of like made a little bit out there from the grading, but not much. Once I take away the fees, I thought maybe I kind of like break even on this Spider-Man. So this is just a little taste of what's about to happen, right? So we're moving on to the first F1 card, Max Verstappen, current world champion, likely to win his second championship from the particular next race. Okay, this is his 2020 Topps Chrome Purple Refractor, right? That's PSA 9, somewhere $399, and so for $740. Now, for some context, I bought this card somewhere in June this year for $1,800. So that's literally $1,000 loss here, right here, before you take into account fees. Now, what has happened on Purple Refractors? I did a complete video about where I actually mispositioned myself in the F1 market, and kind of like pay the price for this. And why did I sell this right now? F1 market is pretty down. That's everybody knows this, but more like for me to kind of recoup the capital. And I always talk about recouping capital. Taking losses is fine, at different junctures in time, because I always believe in cash flexibility. Now, it doesn't mean that I don't have cash to do my stuff. I definitely do. But in this case, when I look at a card that's down by 50%, down to about $740 at the moment, will it come back up to $1,800 back again? Maybe, some point, I'm not sure. Will it go back up by the end of the season or early of next season to, let's say, $1,000 range? Yeah, definitely right. So I would have taken lesser losses if I would wait. Definitely I wouldn't kind of like break even. Of course, who's to know, right? But in this case, with the 700 bucks in pocket, or before fees and whatnot, I was just thinking that I have the flexibility to do something else, whether to hold the cash back or to put money into other things. And you're going to see that this is a repetitive theme as I go on through other cards in this listing. Now, going on, I got a Luke Skywalker here from the Star Wars Decipher customizable card game. This is from the Reflections series, and this is ultra rare for. So this is a pretty rare card, and this is the most powerful card in the game itself. Okay, PSA 9, I believe it's a Pop 10. Okay, going for about $987. This was trending around like $1,100, maybe $1,200 during its high time. So this is kind of like fair price. I was in about $300 on this card before PSA grading fee. So I make a bit of money on this particular Luke Skywalker. Now going on Rittenhouse Spider-Mans, right? So that took a lot of heat on this one. I was a strong believer on Rittenhouse. I still think that Rittenhouse is an underappreciated set. But for me, I'm looking to where to position my investments better. And I was really prepared to kind of like take a big blow on the Rittenhouse stuff that I have here. I believe I have 4 cards here, 3 Spider-Mans and 1 Captain America. In the past, I already took a slight loss on Wolverine Rittenhouse, so I was ready to take a big one. And these couple of Spider-Mans here are really major ones, right? So this Ruby number out of 50, PSA 9, I bought them raw and I sent it to PSA. I'm approximately $1,900 into this Spider-Man. That's right, $1,900. So I lost about $1,600 on this one. Did I expect to lose that much? Honestly speaking, no. I thought that this would close up maybe about like $600 to $800 in my opinion, because at the end of the day, this is a Pop 2, it's a Spider-Man. I'm putting up this listings on the back of that wave of Spider-Man metal that we have, the interest in Spider-Man cards. So maybe it's just Rittenhouse, maybe it's true that it's not the set that everybody's looking at, but definitely a lot of OG collectors do appreciate the Rittenhouse stuff, and this is one of the 4 that took a big hit. So 1900 in, 300 plus return, about down burn about like $1,600 on this one. One of the only basketball card here, small Kobe Bryant. I just wanted to move this one because this was like kind of like an odd end from my portfolio. It was just a base Topps Final, so sold for $53 at $49 after fees. I'm in about like $60, so I kind of like lost about like $16 on this one. So no biggie, but just wanted to tidy up the portfolio. Second Rittenhouse card here, Captain America, $434 after fees. I think it was about like 390-ish, 380 something. I'm in about like $800 on this card, and I talked about this Captain America not too long ago in my IG, how I felt that this Jim Lee art of Captain America was pretty awesome, but again, I was on the, I'd say, a culling spree of my portfolio, and I was just removing stuff that I didn't want to hold anymore, even though I fully knew that I wasn't going to get the maximum value from these cards. Again, I could have held these cards a bit longer, perhaps maybe for this particular card, not so much the Spider-Man earlier, perhaps get back my initial investment of $800, but I just wanted the capital back on this one. My loss, your gain, in a sense. Silver Surfer, this is from the 2013 retro set quick strike insert. This is the tough grade to get PSA 10, so that's why it's a pop 2. Okay, they are very prone to a lot of the print dots on this one, so this was a tough one. I'm only about like $300 in this Silver Surfer, plus another $50 of grading fees, so kind of like make a little bit of profit on this one, but I was hoping that this would land so much more, that given it's a pop 2 and it's a tough grade. But again, times are tough. Glad to just take a profit on this one, but I would have expected this to at least fetch $1,000. Moving on, more F1 here, Charles Leclerc here, $477. This is a steal for somebody. I bought this. I thought I bought this as a steal when I first acquired it for, I think it was like $850. So I lost about like $400 on this card after fees. But at that time when I bought it for $850, I was kind of like happy because I had my own personal valuation on this card to be about just below Max Verstappen at that time at $1,800. So this one maybe about like $1,400. Getting it at $850, I was like, well, that's right, but it's like $1,400. It's the last loss on me. More Rittenhouse. This one is a PSA 9 that I actually bought off eBay. This was I bought for like $650 or $680, I can't remember. So this was the one that I really expected to kind of like break even. In this case, still lost a couple $100 on this one. Moving on, Exquisite. Okay, so this one's a bit of a head scratcher, right? So the Exquisite has been popular. And there was a bunch of Exquisites being put on auction recently and ending at a fairly fair price. And for this Scarlet Witch PSA 9 Pop 1, I actually acquired this for like $630 not too long ago, and I had the assumption that this would fetch close to $1,000, or maybe at least $800. So I could have held on to this Scarlet Witch. It was the only Exquisite I had left. Okay, but those who follow my IG very closely, you will notice that I had a lot of Exquisites, and I actually moved my entire Exquisite portfolio to one single collector. Okay, so this was the last one because this came in a bit late, and it was fine at that point in time because it was a pop 1, so I didn't mind holding on to this for a time being. But again, I was streamlining the portfolio, so I decided that I thought I want to put this up for sale and thinking that maybe I'll at least break even on this particular Scarlet Witch, but came down way under $345. This is the price of PSA 8 just not too long ago. Okay, so way under this. 1994 Marvel Masterpieces. Holofoil gold insert PSA 9. Okay, this is a tough grade for PSA 10, so PSA 9 is considered pretty decent. I bought this card for about $100 and put in $50 on grading. So after fees, nothing really much here. So fair price for whoever bought this card here. I was hoping this would fetch maybe about like $250 around there, but who's to know. Another F1 here, George Russell and Lewis Hamilton as well. I'll talk about Lewis after this. So Russell's doing pretty okay for this season, right? So as a Mercedes driver, $690. I bought this card in for about like $850. So I'm burned a bit on this one, but he has a lot of potential to do very well next season. I just wanted to get all the purples out from my portfolio. It's quite funny, right? It's like, taking losses for things that you just don't like to see that you have, or then just stick it there and then let it sit. Most people can't do that, but I'd rather take the money in and figure out what I want to do next, be it cards or other stuff. But definitely, I enjoy the flexibility, and I keep reminding people on this on my channel. Lewis Hamilton, this one has dropped quite a fair bit. So I bought this particular Lewis for about 1400 PSA 8. Okay, the rest are all PSA 9. At that point in time, PSA 9 so going for about like $3,000 to $4,000. Okay, and the last PSA 9 just recently sold for like 1,300. So you can fairly expect where this PSA 8 will land, and it landed at about the 800 range, which is kind of like, understandable. Spider-Man, this is the Rittenhouse again, this emerald, this number 100. So earlier was the ruby that's out of 50. This closed at about 147. Again, I bought this outright from eBay for about 220, 225. I was hoping to break on that one, but nope, just take a loss on this. Now this is one of the little gambles that I have here. The Spider-Man Pack Wars achievement rate is number 100. So nice looking. This is an achievement card from the Pack Wars, although this is not a very popular set. I kind of gamble because it's a serial number Spider-Man card, red background, right? So I had brought in a couple of these, sent them for grading. I had 2 PSA 10s, okay, 2 PSA 9s, I think, and 2 PSA 10s. PSA 9s didn't sell very well. I believe they ended up for like 70, 80 bucks. And the other PSA 10 I managed to sell for close to $500, which is pretty decent. So this one, again, similar to when I talked about the Spider-Man Rittenhouse, on the back of the Spider-Man metal, I expected this to kind of do fairly okay. I wouldn't say great, maybe not to the $500 range, but definitely not down to the 173. I'm in about, including grading fees, about like 250 on this particular Spider-Man. So, moving on, last 2 cards here. So next one, Battle Spectral Gems, Deadpool versus Taskmaster, number 99, PSA 9. This is a pop 3. Okay, I had 2 of the 3 of this, and I sold 1 off market for about 1,500. And this one, I was expecting to try to get at least close to that number, if not $1,000 at least minimum. And this ended at 610, 500 plus on after fees, and I'm in about like 15 to 1,600 on this card. So it's a massive, big hit on this. Why did I sell Battle Spectral Gems? So at some point in time when the PMGs were hot, people were looking for alternatives. They were looking at vibraniums, looking at BSGs. So these are the ones who got outbid on this one. So, and therefore people wanted to go into something different, and that's why the Battle Spectral Gems was one of the alternatives that people were going into. But in my opinion, I think that the hype has gone away from BSGs. I think people who put together sets are trying to sell the sets individually, or trying to sell pieces once they're acquired. And I think whoever has invested into BSGs are probably going to lose a lot of money when they're selling back out, myself included. I'm a Deadpool fan, so I had this particular one as a PC initially, but I decided to just streamline my collection a bit and get out of this position and take close to $1,000 loss on this one. And finally, we're going to wrap up with a PMG here. Doctor Strange 2015 PMG Blue number 50 is the BGS 8.5. I bought this from Goldine, I think in August this year, maybe July this year, for $2,400. So I'm down more than half on this particular Doctor Strange. So Doctor Strange didn't really pan out in the movie, and I think his popularity has, I wouldn't say sunk, but definitely has gone down quite a fair bit on this one. So no surprise on this particular Doctor Strange dropping to, from what I paid, but for more than half, it's kind of like super big time loss. So I'm not sure whether you guys are keeping track of the math, but I do have an Excel for all these listings here, all 17 here, and the net loss was about $12,000 on all of these listings. So kind of tough. Okay, so again, a couple of points that I mentioned, right? Just trying to streamline the portfolio. NBA market is coming up, NBA season is coming up, so I'm a bit focused on the NBA market. So a lot of my recent Instagram and solo videos, I talk about my pickups for NBA, moving out of Marvel a little bit, streamlining the Marvel portfolio. Got out of Rittenhouse. I knew I was going to take a loss, just a big smacking loss on this one here. Doctor Strange, I was just trying to get out, and F1, I think you guys know I'm trying to get out of the F1 market, keeping just a few pieces, and just cutting the losses on this. I guess on the bright side is, I did quite fairly well in the early part of this year, between Marvel and a few other stuff in here. So these are kind of like level things up. So I'm not in the red in terms of portfolio, but I thought that this was kind of a good time to try and balance things up, streamline the portfolio a bit, consolidate some of the stuff, acquire some important and big pieces with some of this money, and also maintain some cash flexibility on what I want to do next on this. So that's basically it, talking about my recent sale with Probstein here. Would any of you actually do this kind of exercise and take a massive hit? I'm not so sure. I think you guys probably would just sit on the cards and wait for a better time to move it. Most of us are actually not in a hurry to move. In fact, I don't consider myself in a hurry, but I just like to move stuff that I don't feel that has potential to really claw back to where it was. I just like to sit. I like to move things around. So if it's a matter of taking some losses, I'll definitely do that. So of course there are big surprises on some of them. Now Scarlet Witch here, I definitely didn't expect to take heavy losses on that. But needless to say, it's been a very big exercise on this. I've got to start looking forward and start to move towards more positive things. And the market is definitely tough at the moment. So just be wary on what you guys are picking up. Okay, there are deals. There are people saying that as the market trends down, there is still opportunities to buy. You just gotta be very careful on what actually you put in. So it's a very tricky situation to be in. Not many people can kind of like swallow these kind of losses, but it's part of the business, it's part of investing. You got to take the wins and losses at the same time. All right, so hope you guys enjoyed this video. Yeah, I enjoyed preparing, just telling you about my story right here. Do like and subscribe for more future content. Till the next one, Cowboys out.